What's up, people? Sports Debate Tuesday. Had a big weekend. We're going to talk all about it. Me and this man, Rob McLean. Episode starts right now. Damn, even the intro was low energy. You know how the intro has like that big volume and you got to take your headphones off? So wow. Well, we got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna make it through this shit, dude. I'm gonna make it through this. I'm good. I'm good. All right, we got the UFC 270. We got a shitload of football this weekend. I really love the way the UFC delivered again. Um, and we got a topic one, but I guess let me just get this off my chest. Due to a technicality called the score, my Buffalo Bills lost in overtime to Patrick Mahomes, and as you can see by this hat, unlike some fans, I don't leave. This is my team. I stand by my team, and I speak for Justin Stack and like so many of my Buffalo Bills brethrens that we don't feel like this is like our only shot. We got a young team, you know what I'm saying? This is not the loss that crushes us. This is the loss that makes us stronger. It's and there's some teams that are like that. And between you and me, we were talking about it before the podcast that um there were enough hiccups during the regular season that made you think that if they don't win, it's not like this big end of the world thing. It's just the drama and how it ended, and I'm just fed up this whole weekend about everybody talking about what an exciting match we got. See, I get this noggin on my nip trying to hide this damn fever blister behind a pop filter, but since I don't give a damn, here it is. Boom, there it is. Have fun with me. Have fun with me all day with my goddamn team. All right, we're gonna talk about the Buffalo Bills later. First of all, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
All right, good. I'm gonna hit the reset button along with my man Rob. Keep it McLean. McLean. I am Jason DeBeas, and here we go with topic one. A lot of good games this weekend, brother. There's some
hmm
good NBA, but everything, even the UFC with the lightest and heavyweight classes, heaviest weight classes, everything got overshadowed by these four spectacular games. Three of them ended with walk-off field goals. One ended in overtime, which was a spectacular game from bell to bell. We were talking about the Chiefs and the Bills, right? Three out of the four teams, the home team lost. And some were considered heavier favorites than most. So our first subject matter, Rob. I'll put the question to you because I talked enough. We're already 3 minutes in, for Christ's sakes. Which one of these games did you consider a bigger upset? Was it the Bengals over the Titans, who was the one seed? Or was it the 49ers over the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I think the bigger upset, the more surprising one is the Bengals, just because, the one, it was a low scoring game. They're known more for their offense. And, two, they beat a very seasoned team that had Derrick Henry come back. I just think the Bengals have a chance to, do big things. So um I definitely believe that's the bigger upset. Um, but the San Francisco 49ers took out one of the Super Bowl contenders. That's huge. I just don't think, and I'm victim to that as well. I don't think that San Francisco was as bad and as bad off as we expected them or thought they were. And they're just doing the quiet northeast, northwestern, run and march to a championship. So I think they're well on the way to a championship, or at least a berth in the Super Bowl. But huge upset by the um, Cincinnati Bengals with Derrick Henry back, and their defense showed up. It's huge.
I gotta go with. I mean, it's fun to have a debate and disagree for because we really disagree. It's really fun to disagree for its own sake. But let me give me some mic. That's better. I gotta go with you. I gotta go with the Green Bay Packers on this. If you told me if they were in a scenario where Green Bay has a week's rest with really really good coaching, Matt Lafleur, um, with a guy who's probably going to be MVP again, right? 13 games. So if you told me that that team with a week's rest playing at home and what we read, which bring and a place which brings new meaning to a football frozen tundra, not new meaning, old school meaning. Devontae Adams, Rodgers going against the San Francisco 49ers, who a week ago just looked happy to be there, right? If someone bet their house Green Bay would have won, I mean, I've been like, yep, that dude's probably going to wind up with two houses. And as fate would have it, he wound up with none. Because here we go. Once again, Mike Shanahan knew his limitations, played to his limitations, and maximized the potential of the people that he knows produces the most. Debo Samuel is a wide receiver, but you know what? He's got talent. He's gonna run too, and it showed at the end of the game. Third and 7. There was 9 yards. Ended up hopping off the field, unselfishly hopping off the field, knowing that there would have to be a 10-second runoff or a timeout if he stayed on the field, feeling sorry for his leg. So not only is he an MVP, not only is he a highly capable, all-around, talented elite athlete, not only is he among one of the best NFL wide receivers and now running back, but he's also a team player. It impressed the living hell out of me watching this guy do what he did and also be aware of the situation of the game. And ask us what we won, Johnny. I believe it's Gould, right? Was that Robbie Gould? Field goal,
Hmm.
walk-off field goal, upsetting the best team in the NFL with the MVP. Now, as far as who's to blame is on this, because there's a question 1 and 1A about on this. Um, I think Rodgers is running out of people to blame. I think he's running out of people to blame. Okay, sure, they play really good defense. Sure, the defense held San Francisco to pretty much almost no points, just a few field goals, right? The touchdown. What they failed to do was take care of special teams, right? If you San Francisco, one of those touchdowns was a blocked field goal, and in fact, the last play of the game, the walk-off field goal, Green Bay only had 10 men on the field. So even if he misses the field goal, they
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 still got
move
another
5 yards
chance.
closer and the second chance. So I understand that special teams was the gift that keeps on giving. But if you're trying to tell me that Aaron Rodgers, with a week's rest, with good coaching, with talented wide receivers, with a running back that can now catch and throw, because Aaron Jones, I got the numbers right here. He has 129 yards receiving himself. So, but you're trying to tell me the best that Green Bay can come up with is 10 points? Got to go with the
Yeah, that's what
quarterback
I
on this
mean.
one. Got to go with the
I,
quarterback on this one.
I agree. No, I definitely think that it's a huge upset, but I just think that the magnitude of what Cincinnati could become now, with a major playoff win like this, it's almost transformative. They don't even have all their pieces in place. So this is huge for them, not just in the short term, but in the long term. But yeah, I definitely believe that Green Bay was expecting to win this game. But the thing that I always came across when I was thinking about this game is there are so many ways, and this is the same thing with the fight, this weekend. There's so many ways for San Francisco to win this game. And there's really only one way for Green Bay to win, and you've seen that at the end of games every time, and that's with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones is gonna get his. Devontae Adams is gonna get his. AJ Dillon's gonna get his. But at the end of the day, he's got to put the ball in the hands of a guy who's going to put it in the end zone. He's got to make that happen. That's why, as amazing as it is to be the best quarterback in the world, you still have to go out every week and prove it and put it in their hands. So, no, he didn't have a bad game. 20 for 29, 225 yards, no touchdowns. But the
But
no
no
touchdowns
picks.
is the big deal. No
Yeah.
picks, no touchdowns, though. So that's a very conservative game. Whether it was, he was getting rushed a lot, which he was, but that's the nature of the beast. That's why you're the man. That's why you're getting paid that money. So, at the end of the day, I hadn't heard him talking about his offensive line not performing well. I hadn't heard about his pass protection being terrible. So, uh, this has got to be on him. And yeah, he kind of stunk. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we finally agree with that because there's so many people out there that every time this guy wins, it's not. They forget Aaron Jones like rushed for like 125 yards. They forget that
Yeah.
Devontae Adams made these spectacular end zone catches, these circus catches, or catch a 5 yard slant and make it into like a 60-yard scamper, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is not to be celebrated. He is to be celebrated. He's the deserving hands down MVP. Even though Tom Brady, like Pro Football Focus said, Tom Brady should be up, but for me, for regular season when it was time for him to deliver against really really good teams, he's done that, and the only games he's lost one in the beginning, and there was a game they lost he didn't even play. So I have no problem revering this man's greatness, but it's very much like certain politicians. You celebrate this person until something goes wrong, then that's somebody else's fault. And I'm like, Stephen A. Smith, I really wish he would just shut the fuck up about Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur, Matt LaFleur. It's his fault, Matt LaFleur, Matt LaFleur. No, if it's Rodgers and Devontae, if it's Rodgers and the defense, and it's Rodgers and it's this guy, and it's Rodgers and it's that guy, and it's Rodgers and it's that person, at what point do we start asking ourselves, is the playoff problem Rodgers? Right? I mean, did Rodgers have the same problem with McCarthy? Yes, right. I mean, it's not like this isn't a new problem that Matt LaFleur had. Matt LaFleur has won no less than 12 games with a. Well, I know he's got a great quarterback, but how many great quarterbacks do we know in the history of the NFL that has Aaron Rodgers' capability, but that has won less than 12 games?
That's
So
true.
yeah, I mean, but that's my
Yeah.
sentiment. And yeah, congratulations to Burrow. And maybe we'll do a quick question on him about how far he could go. We could do an extended quick question because there's not a whole lot of quick questions today. I'm just out of. I mean, I did. Don't get me wrong. I did my homework today, but man, I am out of. This weekend left me with no questions to ask. I'm just all out of love. Guys, we're gonna revisit football in a minute, but let's go to mixed martial arts. We go to the UFC. Oh man. I'm just skip. I just have a whole bunch of paperwork on the bills. I don't want to do that right now. All right. Once again, I know I keep saying this all the time, but the UFC delivered, right? UFC 270, which was filled with lightning in a bottle, electrifying knockout rounds with it furnished slick submissions, the spectacular round of the year candidates. Frivola, how about that guy from Huntington, New York? You like that?
Right.
I like
Right.
that. Once again, it turned out, once again, it turned out the best matches weren't the finishes; they were the decisions. And here we go, featuring the best from the lightest weight division and from the heaviest weight division. So, with that being said, Rob, what surprised you more? Was it the judge's decision for Figueiredo, or was it the way Francis Ngannou retained his title?
Yeah, and I was actually going to ask this question too
So,
to us
uh-huh.
before. Who it could be exciting, it could be not exciting. I thought the Gan and Nagano fight was incredibly exciting. I thought that was definitely the better fight. And Davidson Figueroa and Moreno, they have this mental game going on between each other, and I like it. I don't like it. I'm glad it's
That's still
over.
my fight of the
Trilogy's
night.
at the end of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely think they fight well, but they also almost get into each other's heads where they just keep performing, keep evolving your game, and just because you are the champion or you are defending against the same person, keep evolving as a player. And I mean this too, or as a fighter, I mean this to Davison Figueroa because he was very without a game plan in his last fight against Moreno, and actually in most of his fights he was without a game plan. He just kind of was that much better than everybody else, even in the championship fights. But now you have somebody that Brandon Moreno still didn't knock him out, but it went as far as it can go, without him finishing the guy,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Try
that's just
impossible to knock down the Mexicano, right? Or knock
yeah,
out a Mexicano. So
So
With that being said, what was more what was more the question is what surprised you more? Was it the way Francis Ngannou used wrestling like the last 3 rounds? Because do we both agree he was down 0-2?
yeah, I mean, yeah, just because it wasn't like the stuff that he like we were saying, like I was saying before about there's only one way for Francis to really win this, as we thought before the fight, which was power fights. But when you got 20 extra pounds on somebody like Blachowicz versus Adesanya, why not use that against your opponent? So it's a smart coaching move, honestly. Um, and yeah, I just think it's playing to the game plan, and they did a great job.
I
But
thought,
yeah,
yeah,
it was definitely more surprising. I think I could have told you exactly what had happened in the Figueroa fight. I mean, in the the Figueroa and Moreno fight. You just didn't know who's going to win. It
right.
was going to be a stand up. It wasn't going to be a ground game, and they're both going to land their shots, and someone's going to be better than the other person that day. But yeah, Gan and Ngannou, was kind of a toss up, and it was even more of a toss up. It was even more of a an interesting fight than we saw, than we thought.
Yeah. Well, I think for my part, it's kind of an unfair question, right? What surprised you more about was it the decision? Because you watch the difference between those two fights is you can watch 5 rounds of Davis and Figueredo and Moreno, and for 4 of those 5 rounds, ask yourself who won the round. You don't know, right? But with Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou, it was a pretty much straight up. Gane won the first two, and Ngannou won the last three. So as far as what's surprising is unfair because if you were sure Figueiredo won and he lost, you're surprised. I had Moreno. I had Moreno rounds 2, 3, and 4. I thought Figueiredo dropped him the third round, but that was the end of the third round and a fight that Moreno was winning. But since certain judges have this boxing mentality, oh, knockdown, that's it. Let's run around the ring, celebrate, we won. And there was a little bit of that going on, but and that was going on unanimously too. So, not a whole lot to be done with that, and neither one of us have a problem with the part 4. But what surprised me, only because I've never seen it before, Rob, was Francis Ngannou winning in the way he did. Because, like you just said, and we only thought there was really 1 or 2 ways he can win. Top position pounding or knock you off your feet while he's on his feet. And then enter this fight. Kamaru Usman in his corner gives him a wink. One of the best wrestlers, right? And mixed martial arts, certainly the best wrestler in his division, right? There's no one better than him except for maybe Kobe Covington. That's 1 in 1A. And here you have Francis Ngannou, who now has a bigger toolbox. So now you're not worried about slick jiu-jitsu guys because he's long-limbed. He can rip and slip out of those. But even though that leg lock made me nervous, I thought he's gonna try to jump out like Brock and land on his butt and have to tap. Because remember, do you go back that far, Frank Mir?
Mm-hmm.
When
Mm-hmm.
Brock felt it and he tried to like jump out of it and couldn't. So I thought we were gonna see a little deja vu thing there, but man, what a match! What a match! Fight of the night was still Davison Figueiredo and my guy Brandon Moreno. Joe Rogan had this nice little caveat. He says the crowd appropriately chanting "Let's go, Brandon," because the guy's name is Brandon. So before we move out of the UFC or UFC 170, I mentioned one of the undercards, Frivola, the guy from Huntington, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
that was a match. How about that? What
It
stuck out
was.
with you? Michael Morales. It was his debut, I think, and you got
Yes,
Trevin Giles.
he
Man,
looked
that's
good.
yeah.
He
No,
looked good.
nobody's doing you no favor giving you Trevin Giles for your debut.
No,
Nah,
but he looked good. Yep. And then I saw another fight I watched pretty exclusively was Barcelona, and no, I can't remember his name, but it was a great fight. There's a lot of really good fights in the undercard. A lot of them.
nice, cool.
I was happy to hear.
Me too. Saeed Nagamadov, slick submission on Cody Stamen.
He
Um,
looked dangerous.
Michelle Pereira Not a lot. I mean, he did a little. He had a little showboat in him, but it wasn't like
I can't take that
he.
guy.
Yeah, but he looked like he
He's
calmed down a
just
little
so
bit.
much talent.
I know.
Good. I mean, but I would even rather him go even crazier. Just look for the knockout. I think
Right.
he's so flashy in the fact that he's just trying to touch somebody, but he takes too long between his shots. Pretty much like he doesn't put things together. He just keeps throwing things. It's like at least have a game plan. Like I know I'm trying to kick overhead, so if I kick overhead, I'm gonna go with like an uppercut, or I'm gonna come across with a hook, or just have like a plan. But I think he's just like he just sees and throws and like runs off the cage and throws a knee and just absolute chaos. So
Yeah, it is.
again, that's a way, but I don't think that's the most successful way of breaking down a defensive or offensive fighter. You know,
Yep. Yep.
so
So
that's where I feel like he gets stuck.
yeah, man. And we got 2 weeks from now, and we could explore that next 2 weeks, and then the week after, we have the rematch between Israel Adesanya and Robert Whitaker. So I think
Hopefully, that's different.
I think it's definitely going to be different. It's definitely going to be different. I don't see Robert Whitaker getting schooled the same way twice like that. I just don't. On the other hand, I just don't see what he's going to do different that's going to actually get him his belt back. So, but again, that's a to be continued. We could talk about that.
We
Would you?
can, but it's going to be. I think it's just going to be, can Robert Whitaker force a takedown? I don't think he's big enough for that because Blachowicz was barely big enough for it.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest. Like he was a big dude and he barely kind of got the guy down.
Mm-hmm.
Once he got him down, he stuck him down. But Adesanya is tough to get down. So at that weight limit, at that weight class, I think it's gonna be hard. And I just hope he's not gearing up for if I get him on the ground, I'm gonna do this to win. I hope he understands if I don't take him down, I gotta fight a whole different fight. So I
No,
just
true
hope he's
that.
on that level.
100%. Yep. Cool, man. Well, that closes the door on MMA. Again, great pay per view. Dano, I don't know why you're charging people all this money, but I want if we're doing it for the pay per view, let's make sure we see it on the fighters' checks. Okay, how about that? And I know I'm bumming on Dana right now, but I know he's really good with discretionary pay, so that's why he's like it's not everybody's business, and there's a reason why. So I'm going after him and at the same time defending him. I'm a big Dana White
But
defender.
that's also why a lot of
Yeah,
people say that he plays favorites.
yeah.
And because it's like discretionary pay, you could be paying somebody, 500K on the side, and
Yeah,
then you paying somebody, and the real fighter pays kibbles and bits.
it's true. Yeah,
So it's like you
doing that
just got
Vince
people
doing that
sucking
Vince
up to
McMahon
Dana.
shit.
But again, he's got to deal with a lot of things like getting fighters to agree to fights, like doing him favors because he does them favors. So I think it all works in together. It's just
Hmm.
again, it's not really people's business how business is made
Yeah.
unless you're trying to be involved in all the business.
Yep.
You know,
Good mic drop there, bro. Um, all right, so let's go. We don't have a pick six anymore right now. We're just a pick two, man. We got the AFC Championship game and we have the NFC Championship game. And let's start with the first one. We have the Bengals. Talk about Cinderella, huh? Talk about two
hmm
Cinderellas. We got the Bengals and Chiefs, and we have the Niners at Rams. So I guess the real question is, does Cinderella get to go to the dance and meet the prince, has, or this weekend will midnight strike? Will that glass slipper look like an old cleat again? Right, and will that tour bus look like a big old pumpkin? Let's start with you. We got
I mean, I
Bengals.
say for honestly, I think for all four teams, like I don't think anybody would see the 49ers in the championship game.
No,
The Chiefs were, dead in like week 12,
I
or week
know.
10.
Yep,
And then
rolled off
Cincinnati,
seven. Yeah.
it's just is definitely a dark horse.
And the
And
Rams were
and
like
the
surprised they're even
Rams,
hosting. They were like, dude, we
yeah,
were
I
the
mean,
3 seed. How the hell are we
they them
hosting?
sir, but I mean they like there was a lot of pressure on them in the early season
Mm-hmm.
to get to the Super Bowl. They went 7-0. Then they had the big losing slide. They had their two, 3 games, or 3 out of 4. And then they came back and they won again. So it's just been an up and down season for LA too. So I think everybody's just trying to peak at the right time, and I think the 49ers are honestly peaking at the right time, doing everything correctly, playing tight football. great defense. That's going to be a fantastic game. I honestly, I don't know. I think I would pick the 49ers, because I'm sure there's money there. But the Rams look dangerous, man. And they got Cam Akers back. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
probably go with the Rams. There's a lot of things going into this game.
All right, let's
They're
do it
gonna
now. Let's
host.
start first. Niners and Rams.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah. I
You
think
you
I
going with
think the
Rams?
Rams. I
Yeah.
think the Rams are gonna win this one. There's a lot behind it, a lot of people ready, and they're hosting in a Super Bowl ready stadium. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I like the Rams because none of these moments seem too big for them anymore. I mean, what you still have a large core of those players that went to the Super Bowl previously with Jared Goff, no less. Okay, so now you have a situation that SoFi is the host, right? And that happens to be your home stadium, and you get a chance to play a team that has been that brings new meaning to the word problematic, right? The Niners beat them the last time, and then I believe the Niners beat them to get in. To make it to the playoffs. So I think it's very poetic that all of this comes full circle, that the Niners, it's almost like beating a champion, right? Like the division champion, and in boxing, like when you beat someone who's like a defining champion, Rob, you always know you got to beat him twice, right?
Mm.
Like if someone beats John Jones, right? Let's say someone beats John Jones, you know you got to beat him twice. Or Anderson Silva, you notice there's an automatic rematch happening. So very, very fitting in a poetic way. That's the real winners are just the spectators and basically everyone in all of sports because it's so relatable. So I go with that being said, that took a long time. About time I answered the question, right? Got to go Rams too. Right now we're 5-5. You were 3-1 last week. I was 0-4. Get that one. Week before I was 5-1. You were 4-2. So now we're even at five up. So I gotta go with you on this one, so I don't think either one of us are gonna budge. I don't think we're gonna have a true winner this weekend if we pick the same teams, but we still got the Super Bowl to worry about too. So right now, I'll go with the Rams. I just think the Rams are better at the quarterback position. I think the Rams are better at their discipline. Um, Turning the ball over, I call it a wash for two teams that have an emphasis on not turning the ball over, but I feel like the everything from the top to bottom, from the quarterback all the way to the coaches, is like 1 and 1A. It's big brother, little brother. I pick big brother. I pick the Rams. All right, second one. Bengals visit the Kansas City Chiefs. Is there a bigger story than Mr. Burrow? Is there a bigger feel good story as far as an individual player is concerned than Joe Burrow? This guy out of LSU got hurt last year, but he was balling, right? Before he got hurt, he's 65% completion percentage or some crazy stat like that for a
Yes, he
rookie.
was.
And you see it in his eyes. They're like, you walk by Joe Burrow in the coffee shop. What are you up to today? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna win. That's it. No frills, right? No how we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. No, none of all that stuff. He's a man's man. Um, good looking guy. I think an Ohio product too, man. So he set the stage
Mhm.
for himself. He's the guy you want your daughter to date, but you don't want your son to fight. And but there is another realm of rising star to superstardom, and right now Mahomes is hitting his stride. Like you said, they struggled until week 10, and from week 10, if you got to go all the way back to week 10, that is a problem. This man managed to overcome insurmountable odds at the last minute, and he showed everybody he can win shootouts. Now the question is, can they win a control game? Can they win a discipline game? Absolutely, and that's why I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that the Bengals have every opportunity because their offense is just super explosive, and the Chiefs have been playing really good defense recently. A lot of good turnover, especially in the late game. So if it's close, I'm definitely looking. The Chiefs are definitely looking like a better team still, even. Um, so I definitely don't think it's a big. It would be huge if they won this game, but I definitely don't see them coming out and scoring 40 plus points, which is what they're going to need to do with what their defense presents against Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I mean, the Chiefs are going to have a field day on the secondary of the Bengals, and so it's possible, but I think it's going to be a shootout, and if the Bengals are able to, find their way to score points, it's possible. But yeah, I definitely think the Chiefs are just not even Patrick Mahomes, but everybody. I think the defense have been playing better every week. And that's again from week 10. They've been playing better every week. So right now they're just playing at an all-star level. And yeah, they might not be the best, the most talented defense. Tyrann Matthews out now, but they do bend a lot of bend not break. But again, Josh Allen, you know, Phil Burrow, Phil Burrow,
Joe.
Joe Burrow. Um, you have a lot of easy opportunities to score on the secondary. I mean, they do give up points, so it could be a shootout. I really do believe it is, but I just don't think the entire team has the experience yet for this type of moment. When Patrick Mahomes and them, see this as another game to a Super Bowl. So I really think that the Chiefs are going to come through and stomp them a little bit. But hey, Cincinnati, I think it's been a fantastic run, and they're only going to go up from here because they don't have pieces in place, and they're still maximizing their talent. They made a fantastic choice, which everybody was wrong about, with Jamar Chase and over Penei Sewell, and they're making everybody eat their words, and they're going to come in next year in the draft and make this team a formidable Super Bowl contender, but not this year.
Yeah. And it's going to be impressive every year because if you consider that division, right, where Pittsburgh is always well coached, the Ravens are always well coached, Lamar Jackson, right? You got the Cleveland Browns. Being first in that league is highly meaningful, and I also think it hardens you for the playoffs, hardens you up, very much like the Niners and Rams, right? You got Seattle, you got Arizona, you got right? You got a team. You got four teams where like not everybody's gonna make it, man. They're definitely gonna toughen up the people who do, or if not, take a pound of flesh. All right, brother. All right, so that's our pick two. Right now we're tied at 5-5, and we're gonna remain that until the Super Bowl, maybe. And we're gonna. I mean, look, one of us is gonna have to go one way next week or the next 2 weeks. All right, but until then, we got something else coming. It's my favorite topic, ladies and gentlemen. I call it to shame or not to shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
Okay, let's start my clock. And there it is, Robbie. So, Rob, to shame or not to shame? We go back to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are up by 3 points with 13 seconds left. Kansas City manages to go 50 yards in 10 seconds, leaving 3 seconds to kick the game-tying field goal. Is that shame on the Buffalo Bills, or no shame because Kansas City and Mahomes were just being Mahomes?
I honestly do believe it's a bit of both. I think just like how bad the Cowboys did, Kansas City, and especially when you speed things up that fast, it's hard to set your plays up. So if you move at a fast pace, especially at the end of games, you see it's very successful. And that's why they try to quicken pace a lot in the game. But yeah, I mean, I definitely expected the Buffalo Bills to at least defend one play. That is what you needed. You needed one defended pass, one knockdown, one pressure. Because I mean, they got 15, 20 yards on each play. That means there was at least 2 to 3 seconds in the pocket where anyone making move around, the pass might be a little off. You get to defend a play. I mean, yeah, it was maybe a little bit not lack of effort, but a lack of concentration, and also great execution.
Yeah, Rob, I gotta go. All right, for me, and I have a question.
Sorry, I took the full. I took the
No,
full 60
no,
there.
that's us. That's what the minute's for. Rob, I gotta go. Like I said, there's a little bit of both, but I mean, because it's the topic to shame or no shame, I gotta go shame a little bit. Not on the squib kick, which I want to actually explore with you a little bit after my 60 seconds is up, but shame in the sense that 13 seconds, you have to go cover. You have to either just go full prevent or you got to go all out blitz so they don't beat you deep. So, in fact, I would rather just have two defenders because you know they're going to go short. I'd rather have not two defenders. I mean, two people on the line. So what? If Mahomes wants to break one, let him. He only if he breaks one to run, he only has enough time to kick a field goal or go for a Hail Mary. Instead, these guys have what? They had enough. They made enough time and they managed for two plays, and I'm only mixed because Kansas City they intelligently thought this out. You had linemen screaming timeout as soon as Kelsey caught the pass. You had linemen, not the coach, not just Mahomes, not Kelsey. Everybody knew the gravity of the situation, and they maximized their potential for 10 seconds. So you got to give it to them because if Buffalo gives you that opportunity, you still have to hit it, right? You still got to make that throw. Kelsey was actually, the original play was for him to cut out. He ended up cutting in. But you still got to make those catches. You still got to intelligently get your behind down to give yourself enough time to kick a field goal. But I guess the follow-up question is, were you okay with kicking off instead of a squib kick?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think, making them go back as far as possible. And again, all you have to do is defend one play.
Yeah.
It's Harrison Butker. If he's kicking a 60-plus yard field goal and making it, that's okay. But if he's getting into field goal range, that's on your defense.
Yeah.
But again, great execution, poor concentration on the other side. It's always a little mix of both.
Right. Yeah, and for me, I would have gone regular kickoff too because of anyone who's watched the whole game like we did multiple times knows that Buffalo didn't look particularly good on special teams. They were Kansas City looked like they had potential in one instance that they had a chunk of yardage. I think Matt Hawk had to make the tackle. The puncher that didn't even have to punt. Man, he was our MVP. He was my MVP for both games. One for staying in a hotel, and this week for making that a very important tackle. So I'm not squib kicking either because Kansas City, their playmakers were getting these chunks of yards. But then there's another argument, like if they decide to pick up, they burn all the time that it is for you to run a play. I mean, Kansas City had all 3 timeouts, but 3 timeouts don't mean shit if you only have 4 seconds, right? If you only have 4 seconds on the clock. So I'm mixed, but because of how the mood of the game goes, you kick it as far back as you can. I mean, after all, what are you going to do? Go 50 yards in 10 seconds? Pfft.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I know it's tough.
No, but that's exactly what he went. Yeah, I'm like, what's the worst thing that can go wrong? Just kick deep. You think like this guy's gonna go 50 yards in 10 seconds? Come on. All right. Yeah. That's the shame. That's the shame or not to shame. Bobby McGee, we go to your topic, your favorite topic. We call it Quick Question. Rob, quick question. First of all, Tyreek Hill looked like Forrest Gump. When he caught that slant, remember Forrest Gump, like when he's playing for Alabama and they're like, run, Forrest, run, and like you only see him blind. I mean,
oh yeah,
my God. Oh, but lastly, that was the first postseason game where opposing quarterbacks threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was the first time in history. Also, it was the first time someone caught 4 touchdown receptions.
I know. Gabriel Davis, where did he come from?
Yeah, man. He was there. I mean, for the Bills fans, he was there the whole time. He just, I didn't know Diggs would be playing decoy for him, but then again, it is what it is. Okay, quick question, Rob. Who walks away from the NFL first? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, definitely Tom Brady.
I think I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to retire a Packer. I think he wants to remember other things about his legacy. Quick question. The Titans going for a 2-point conversion after tying the game 6-6. Good idea or bad idea?
No, terrible idea. And this is just like the same thing as just trying to like hammer in the mentality of we're just gonna smash him, hit him in the mouth. Like, dude, just get the
Outsmarting yourself.
points.
Outsmarting
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Good Lord, I agree with you. Quick question. Cincinnati this week. Is it high stakes or playing with house money?
Playing with house money.
Sorry.
Anything they do this week is a positive. They win, it's positive. They lose, close game, it's a huge positive. They lose, a huge playoff loss, it's still a positive because they're gonna not have to do it again. It's just that's it's all good. It's all good this week for them.
All right, cool. Quick question. Did the Bucks lose because they were missing Antonio Brown and Godwin?
No, they lost because they were missing Tristan Wirfs. If they had
Yeah,
Wirfs, I
that left
honestly believe they
tackle.
would have won this game.
Yeah.
The right guard, right
Yes.
tackle, something like
Left
that.
tackle.
Is it left tackle?
Well, he came in as a guard because look, we go way back. Remember, we were showing videos of the Tristan Wirfs doing the 40, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Big old. Remember, I told you there's nothing scarier than a big guy that can catch you.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a mauler for sure. But yeah, he's been fantastic, and he went out last week, so I thought that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
Even though they did get Fournette back, but
I never
yeah,
thought
I
of
think
it
was
that
more
way.
that guy.
I never thought of it that
It was
way,
more.
but all of a sudden I find myself agreeing with you because consider this. Brady had Godwin and Antonio Brown against the Rams in the regular season, and they lost. So,
Right.
And you and me, we ain't down with that excuse business. You know what I mean? This is the playoffs. We ain't got time for that. Gotta go. Either you're good enough or you're not, right? I mean, that's that elite athlete mentality. And I know the media likes to have fun with that, but you're not going to hear anyone, maybe except Antonio Brown, say some crazy stuff like that. But because this is media, right? We gotta ask the question that's constantly being asked, and I'm glad you and me co-sign on that. All right, that's the end of the quick question. Told you that's a big one. But before we go, my favorite quote this weekend. Big up to Andy Reid. Andy Reid was asked what he told his quarterback when Josh Allen scored with 13 seconds left. Andy Reid said, if the situation's grim, then be the Grim Reaper. That's gangster. That is awesome. We as coaches and players, there's nothing in the world that when a coach comes up to you and basically what he said is code for, son, you're the man. That's it.
Sure.
When times are grim, be the Grim Reaper, Rob. Well, dude, that's all we got, man. That's all we got. Rob, is there anything you'd like to say to our general population before we leave this episode of Sports Debate Tuesday?
Just stay happy, stay healthy, yo.
Stay happy, stay healthy, says Rob. Keep it McLean. And I'm going to say the same thing. I'm Jason DeBeas. This is Sports Debate Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Stay with me next week. Until next week. Again, that is Rob. I got to slow it down. Keep it McLean. We're out. We love you guys. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.